I never believed my life could end before it had even begun. I was just 16 years old when the walls of my world, both my home and my faith, came crashing down in a single morning. My name is Miriam. I grew up in a dusty little town on the edge of the Nile, where calloused hands and whispered prayers held families together. Every morning, the muezzin's voice echoed through the streets, pulling me from sleep, reminding me who I was. A Muslim daughter, a sister, a student, a girl whose life was neatly woven into the rhythm of prayer and tradition. On the day that changed everything, I was helping my mother grind spices in our small kitchen. Cinnamon, cumin, and cardamom filled the air, while my little brother Yusuf played with his blocks on the dirt floor. The sun poured through the cracks of our clay walls, and I remember thinking how golden it looked that morning, and then the world began to shake. The earth roared like a beast breaking free from its cage. Pots clattered, the ground pitched and rolled beneath us. My mother screamed for me to grab Yusuf, but before I could, the ceiling groaned and collapsed. Heavy clay tiles and wooden beams came crashing down. The last sound I heard was her voice calling my name, then silence. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't under the rubble anymore. I was floating above it. I saw everything at once: neighbors rushing with shovels, my mother clawing through the dirt with her bare hands, tears streaking her face. Yusuf was pulled from the wreckage, coughing and crying, and relief washed over me. He was alive, but I couldn't see myself anywhere. My body was hidden beneath the shattered stones, but the real me was free, hovering in the air, and instead of terror, I felt peace. A peace so deep it was like being wrapped in a warm blanket on the coldest night. Something drew me upward, gentle but irresistible. The village shrank below me until all of Egypt stretched like a patterned carpet beneath my gaze. Yet I wasn't traveling through air. I was moving through light, living light. It pulsed with warmth, music, and something I can only call love. And then I saw him. He stepped out of the brilliance like a sunrise, walking toward me. His robe was simple and white, but it glowed with its own light. His hair was dark, his skin olive like my own people, and his eyes, oh, his eyes carried the weight of eternity but shone with infinite tenderness. When he spoke my name, Miriam, it sounded like music woven from thunder and honey. Do not be afraid, little daughter. You are safe with me. I knew instantly who he was, even though every teaching of my childhood told me this couldn't be true. Muslims honor Isa, Jesus, as a prophet, but not as the Son of God. Yet here he stood before me, more real than the ground I had walked on all my life. Are you Jesus? I whispered without lips or breath. He smiled, and his smile was like watching dawn rise over a desert after the longest night. Yes, beloved child, I am the one you call Isa. Yesterday, today, and forever tears poured from me, though I had nobody to cry with. But I prayed to Allah, I stammered, I fasted, I covered my head, I followed the Prophet's words. My family, my whole village believes differently. He stepped closer, and waves of compassion radiated from him like warmth from a fire. Miriam, do you think your prayers to Allah were ignored? Do you think the love in your heart for your family and your longing for God went unheard? I have been listening to every prayer. I have seen every kindness, every sacrifice, every act of devotion, and it has led you here. To me, my mind swirled with questions. The Quran said Christians were astray, that Jesus was only a prophet. But my heart couldn't deny what my soul knew standing before him. This was truth itself. Then with a sweep of his hand, the light shifted, and suddenly I stood in a garden unlike anything on earth. Colors beyond imagination lit the trees and flowers. Rivers shimmered like liquid crystal, and the very air sparkled with life. "This," Jesus said, "is a glimpse of my Father's house. Here there are no divisions, no Muslim, no Christian, no Jew, only children of God who have found their way home." As we walked, I saw people from every nation, African, European, Asian, Arab, all worshiping together in radiant joy. For the first time, I saw humanity not as fragments but as one family. "Jesus," I asked, through trembling wonder, "what about my family? What about those in my village who don't know you this way? Are they left out of this?" His eyes filled with both sorrow and love. "This is why I brought you here, Miriam, to show you who I am, to give you a message to carry back. Many pray sincerely to God, but they must know that I am the Son of the living God, the way to eternal life." My heart dropped. "But I'm dead." The ceiling crushed me. "Your time is not finished," he said gently. "You must return. Your family and your people need to hear what you have seen." And then he showed me visions, angels walking among my village, every prayer rising to God like incense. Yet I also saw walls of fear and misunderstanding dividing Muslims and Christians, keeping families and nations apart. "This was never my plan," Jesus said softly. "I came to unite, not divide. My love is for all, and my spirit is moving even now, through dreams and visions among Muslims around the world." I gasped, realizing I wasn't alone. Others were meeting him too. But before I could ask more, he placed his hand on my shoulder and strength surged through me like fire. "Do not fear, daughter. I will give you words. I will prepare hearts. Some will listen, and that will be enough. I don't want to go back," I whispered. "It's so peaceful here. No fear, no pain, no confusion. You will return to this place one day," Jesus promised, pointing toward a city of light in the distance. "But not yet. You have a life to live, a family to love, and a message to share. When the time comes, I will be here waiting for you." Panic rose in me. What if I forget what you've shown me? What if I can't find the right words? He reached out and touched my forehead. You will not forget. And when you need the words, I will give them to you. Trust me, little daughter." The garden began to fade, colors dissolving into brilliant white. I felt myself being pulled backward, like a tide receding. The peace ebbed away, replaced by crushing weight and searing pain. My chest burned as though fire had been lit inside me. I gasped for air, my lungs tearing open again. Voices surrounded me in Arabic, urgent, frantic. "Miriam! Miriam, can you hear me?" It was Dr. Hassan from the village clinic. My mother was sobbing, holding my hand so tightly it hurt. I tried to speak, but my throat felt like dry sand. The first word that escaped my lips was barely a whisper. "Jesus!" My mother's eyes went wide. For a heartbeat, everything froze. Then the room erupted in questions and prayers. That was 8 months ago. Everything since has been different. At first, my family didn't know what to think. My father feared I'd suffered brain damage from the accident. The village imam and elders came to pray over me, asking God to protect me from any evil spirit. Some people whispered that I was confused or deceived, but something unexpected began to happen. My cousin Yasmin, my shy, gentle cousin, was the first to listen. One evening she sat on my bed, eyes lowered, and confessed that for months she had been having dreams about a man in white robes calling her name. When she heard my story, she broke down in tears. Within weeks, 3 more people in our village came to me privately, whispering their own secret experiences. My neighbor, Mrs. Zara, the same woman who had helped dig us out from the rubble, confessed she'd been secretly reading Christian books, searching for more of God. Another friend admitted he'd started praying, asking God to show him truth beyond what he'd been taught. I realized then what Jesus had meant. Hearts were already being prepared. My experience was only the key to unlock what God had been planting in them for years. Still, it hasn't been easy. Some people still think I'm deluded. Others avoid me altogether, as though I have betrayed my faith. There are days when the weight of misunderstanding crushes me like the ceiling did. But then I remember his words. You are not responsible for convincing anyone. You are only responsible for sharing what you have seen and experienced, so that's what I do. I speak gently. I listen more than I argue. I pray before I talk, asking him to give me the right words. And slowly, like flowers blooming in slow motion, I see change. Not in everyone, but in enough. I have learned something vital. The message Jesus gave me isn't about abandoning my family or rejecting my culture. It's about discovering the fullness of God's love, the love that was already calling to us in every sincere prayer we prayed, every act of kindness we showed, every moment we sought him with pure hearts. The Jesus I met did not condemn me for my background. He didn't demand that I stop loving my parents or speaking my language or honoring my community. He simply revealed himself as the missing piece my heart had been searching for. Now, when I pray, I still use some of the words I learned as a child. Sometimes I still cover my head out of respect, but inside, my prayers are different. I'm not reaching toward a distant God. I'm speaking with the one who met me in the light, the one who called me his daughter. I know that some people reading or hearing my story will think I'm confused or misled. That's okay. I thought the same thing when I first saw him. But if your heart stirs even a little as you hear my words, maybe, just maybe, it's the same spirit who pulled me from the rubble call